officially ran out of ideas. And I've also got no better editing software than Filmora, so we're stuck with the watermark, unfortunately. But I did get one idea. That being, I have a whole bunch of random Street Fighter facts, and I'm gonna share with you all rapid fire style. So, here we go. Despite being a character you may never have heard of, Retsu has been hinted at coming back multiple times. And I mean multiple times. Once in the crossover game, Capcom Fighting Evolution, once in the Decap reveal, but never returning, strangely enough. That was until Street Fighter 6, where he would make his glorious return in the Street Fighter World Tour mode. Not quite sure what he's doing here, but hey, it's cool. There's a reference to Thomas and Friends in Street Fighter 5. It's very hard to make out, but in the background of this birdie stage, you can see a steam locomotive on display at this station. This steam locomotive is actually an E2, the exact same type of locomotive as Thomas, and it's impossible to make out in this scene, but there's a big fat number 5 on the side of the locomotive, which is actually a triple reference. The 5, of course, being in reference to the number of title this game is, the 5 also being a reference to the character James, and the fact that it's on the side and not in a small corner is another Thomas reference, as that is how the Northwestern Railway numbers its engines. Sagat actually is depicted with a chest scar for the entirety of the series, except for Street Fighter 1, where he actually doesn't have it yet. This is a big reference because Ryu has given his chest scar at the end of 1. It's again, these facts are completely yes, but they're still pretty fun to share. Most of the characters in Street Fighter are based off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like Rose and Guile. However, there's actually a more direct reference to Street Fighter and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the character Seth. For Seth's multi-punch move, which you'll see in just a second, is actually a reference to the character Dio and his multi-punch ora technique, which, now that I say that out loud, is probably not the technique's name, but hey, it's what I like to call it. He also has Mad Cradle, and the Mad Cradle move is a huge reference to Dimitri from Darkstalkers, which means that Seth stole moves from 2 different vampires. That is just plain strange. You may know that there are a lot of balancing props in Street Fighter 4, but did you know that one of the characters, Yun, was actually made overpowered on purpose? Yes, Yun in Super Street Fighter Arcade Edition was made overpowered for the sake of competition, which I'm not quite sure why on earth you would make a character overpowered for the sake of competition, because wouldn't that discourage competition? That is just a little strange. But did you know there was also a character in the Street Fighter series that was made underpowered on purpose? That character, of course, being Sean. Sean was actually made underpowered on purpose for the sake of competition as well. But what's interesting is the fact that Sean was made for the opposite. Sean was made to be underpowered on purpose so that a good player could pick him and give themselves a handicap, which, I must remind you, that is not how competition works. Also shown off in this video that I just stole, just kidding by the way, credit goes to the video maker, but Luke actually took a few of Street Fighter Sean's moves. That's a little strange. In the Street Fighter cartoon, there was actually a reference to Mortal Kombat. Yes, a Mortal Kombat crossover was going to happen. Not only is there a mysterious character in Street Fighter who, in the Street Fighter cartoon, who makes an appearance in the Mortal Kombat cartoon, meaning that a Street Fighter cartoon crossover was going to happen but never did. Oof. But in this one episode, Strange Bedfellows, Akuma says this.
Finish him.
We are all aware of the beautiful disaster that was the Street Fighter movie. But did you know that movie actually got a video game that was officially published by Capcom? I'm still laughing at the fact that this game exists. There is a long thing I could talk about with this movie, like the fact that Akuma is in the game, despite the fact that Akuma never appeared in the movie. All because the makers of the game got impressed when Capcom showed them everything about their game. But I'm gonna stick to one main fact. That one main fact being there is actually a secret Easter egg. Fei Long is in this game, and he's only seen if you select Cammy on the torture stage. One other very interesting thing about this game, the fact that a lot of the characters from the movie don't actually appear in it, simply because their actors didn't want to show up that day. I am serious. I am very serious right now. If you want to see more about this, watch Thorgy's Arcade's video about this video game, link in the description. Laurie Strode's longtime actor actually plays Street Fighter. Yes, I am serious. She says her main is Cam. DJ in Street Fighter 2 was actually created by an American employee from Capcom. Originally, DJ slot was supposed to be filled by Fei Long's twin brother. However, Capcom of American employees thought that he would look better if he was an African-American character. However, African-American characters at the time were depicted as either stupid or villains. So this employee wanted to break the mold by having this character, later named DJ, to be an African-American character who was not only always positive and smiling, but could be a good guy. That is actually really sweet and a great way to break the mold back in those days. Another fun fact about DJ, if you're wondering why his pants in Street Fighter 2 are always saying maximum, it's actually because that was the only word that Capcom could think of that they could write both ways without breaking the illusion. Hardware limitations at their finest. Now we all know that Gil was later used to make his brother Urien, because Urien is a palette swap. But have you ever wondered why Gil is half blue and half red? Well, it's actually because Capcom wanted to show off that they could flip a character model at the time, so they made him half blue and half red. While most people hate that design choice, I actually really like it. Balrog is modeled after Mike Tyson, but I'm pretty sure we all know that. What you may not know is the fact that in Japan, Balrog is actually named M. Bison, with the M standing for Mike. But then you may be wondering, what about M. Bison himself? Well, here's the thing. In Japan, he's not actually called M. Bison. He's called Vega, and Vega is called Balrog. Yes, when they came to America, they swapped their names around, only because Capcom of America didn't want to get in trouble with Mike Tyson. This isn't the only case where this happened, as in Japan, Akuma is named Goki. And, yeah, in case you're wondering why these guys are always called Boxer, Claw, and Dictator, well, that's because the FGC gave them those nicknames so that people wouldn't get confused. But considering the fact that now we have 3 Boxer characters, Dudley, Ed, and, well, Balrog, I'm pretty sure it actually is getting more confusing. Another fact about Balrog is the fact that despite being a dirty boxer who likes to cheat, he will never throw a kick. This is also true for Dudley and Ed, specifically in Street Fighter 6, which is heavily contrasted by Elena, who will only throw kicks. This is a very useless fact, but I still wanted to share it. Oro has multiple things tied to him, but one thing we need to talk about beforehand is the fact that Remy is one of the only playable characters in Street Fighter history to never appear in the Udon Street Fighter comic. Oh, yeah, that joke I made about him earlier, that was not a joke. That was real. But another thing is Oro. Oro is actually modeled off of a real person. A Brazilian jiu-jitsu master who actually broke his arm during battle and refused to tap out. That was pretty cool. But another thing about Oro, the reason why he always holds his arm behind his back is because he's actually the strongest character in Street Fighter, or at least he claims to be. And He holds one hand behind his back to give his opponents a fighting chance. Yeah, that's right. He's only using 50% of his power. We don't know what 100% looks like, but let's just say if he used 100% of his power, Bison is not the character to fear. And finally, on April Fool's Day, Shang Long actually became canon. However, he has been heavily goofified. He says that his favorite things are April Fool's Day, he has an unknown blood type, and he dislikes modified platforms. Make of that as you will. And this has been a whole bunch of useless facts for Street Fighter. I hope you enjoyed this somewhat filler video because I enjoyed making it.